Village of Armada regular council meeting will now come to order. Will everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, please? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will have the clerk call roll, please.
Shaw.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Conan.
Here.
Wolak.
Here.
Ballard.
Here.
Sledz.
Here.
Belkey.
Here.
Next is the approval of the agenda. What is the council's wishes, please?
Mr. President, I'll move the agenda be accepted as presented.
Support. Moved by Clark.
Valid.
Any further discussion? Moved by Ballard.
Ballard.
Yeah.
Seconded by Clark.
Second.
Yep.
by Clark.
Yep.
She got that.
We knew it in that.
If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. At this time, the floor is opened up to citizen comments. I see no citizen in our audience or in the room, period. So we will move on. And next is presentations. We have none at all tonight. And next is the administrative reports. The commissioner liaison reports, planning commission meeting minutes of November the 2nd of this year. Next, we're going to go into general business, which will be the approval of the regular council meeting minutes of November 23rd, 20, and a payment of bills. What is the council's wishes?
Mr. President, I'll move the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Support.
Moved by Ballard, supported by Shaw. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. We're going to move into old business. Sewer plan update. This is Mr. Clark's department. Mr. Clark, please.
Yep, I was down there this morning. I'd like to report that the membrane has been put on the roof, and the hatch and vents are also. It's been painted inside. Stairs have been installed. Heat is running in there now, and they started their first run of piping in there for bypassing SBR tank number 1 that is on the west end. And they've got some concrete walkways to pour yet down there, and some railings on the porch going down to the pipe gallery. That's all I've got right now.
Very good. Any questions of Mr. Clark? If not, next is the water department. Mr. Belkey, do you have anything?
Yes, we had a very good meeting with HydroCorp Corporation this last Thursday. Becky was involved. Ed Saratowski was involved. I was there. This was a planning / start of work meeting for the non-residential cross-connection inspections that'll start on 1 April. We talked about how that process is going to take place. We will make sure that the inspectors from HydroCorp are badged with village badges. We've sent notices to the chief of police and the fire department so that they're aware. Planning is going to continue over the next couple months. We're going to get a notice out in the next water bill for the non-residential customers. You know, that's the industries, business, commercial businesses, the churches, the schools, the municipal buildings, to prepare for the inspections. And so we're taking the plan that we approved and the ordinance change that we made, and we're now starting to put some meat on those bones and physically do the inspections that were the basis for those things. And so very good meeting, and we're off and running. We are continuing to work through the arsenic detention easement language. I think there's good intentions everywhere, but the bottom line is we did not get from the county the signed easement paperwork, and so we're backtracking and trying to get that. Patty Dibb, who is the Chief of Staff for the Board of Commissioners that made the final approval, has been very helpful and has provided a letter from Fred Miller, the county clerk, certifying the fact that we were approved and so on. But you know, at the end of the day, we've got to get paperwork that has an original signature that's notarized, that then comes to us. So Marvin and Michelle can sign it, and then we can file it with the county so that work can move forward. Again, we're in design construction right now. I'm sorry, we're in the design phase of the effort right now. We're not in the construction phase, and so we want that done. You know, with the likelihood that we will move forward in the next fiscal year to do some actual construction. So trying to get all that done. A little irritating. Spent a lot of time on that darn thing. Hopefully we get it over the hump here. We did get notice from Sunshine Water Softener Company. That's the guy that is working with us on the G2 media for the water treatment plant. The media has been approved. So it is now past its certification process, and it is there and available for us to make an order. I have to contact those guys to find out, okay, what are the next steps? And then we got to decide when do we want to do it. And there was the possibility, we talked about at the last meeting, or perhaps the one before that, of some grants that may provide some funds for that, right? So I don't want to pay for it, because once we do that, we're probably not going to get reimbursed by the state should we our grant go through. And so it's timing, and so I've got more work to do. But the good news is the G2 media is approved. If you recall, they also had another media that they said had just come on the market that could potentially also work for us. I've got to find out more information on that, and potentially it was cheaper, which would not be a bad thing, because it was $371,000 for 2 vessels, and we got 4. So we got to change all 4. Anyway, things are moving forward. Got to do some more work on that. By the next meeting, I expect to have the capital improvement plan and funding option report that F&V is working on for us for streets, roads, and water. I'm sorry, streets and roads are the same thing. Streets, sewer, water, there we go. I knew I would get it. And I've already seen some preliminary stuff where they've overlaid everything on top on a map. You know, where's a bad street, where's a bad sewer, where's a bad water pipe, and it gives you a much better idea of perhaps what should be the priorities. And so again, the idea was to get that done so that as we go into the budget cycle, we could start making some informed choices about what do we do first and what do we prioritize after that. So expect that by the next meeting. And then Mike, I did get your picket and plaque back in the park by the pump house, and so that is up, and I think that's all I got.
Very good.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Feldman. Next one will be our new business. We're going to ask for some committee members, trustees, council members, in other words, to be on an employment negotiating committee. That will be starting now. Usually we like to do it starting in January, so you have it in February, March, and we're all set to go by April 1st. So there'll be some meetings that we can schedule, or you can schedule as such, probably usually weekly or every 2 weeks, whatever the committee decides on, as long as you make progress on it. So
Mari, I'd like to add too, you know, you say so you're ready by April 1st. You need to be ready before April 1st,
Yeah.
because that's gonna be something that gets turned in with budget. And I gotta be able to wrap that in all the departments where I need
And our
to.
budget meeting is March 22nd, so
Yeah.
it's,
That's the cutoff, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it all cut, yeah,
For,
we need it, because, you know, once you guys negotiate and we get the contracts in, they all need to be updated, which is, I can't do, because it's all the employees that have contracts.
So it's really January, February.
Yes.
Right,
It would
well,
be
we
nice
could
at the
say
beginning of
April
March.
1st is our fiscal year. That's
Yeah.
why I use the date
Right.
for that, you know, so everyone is aware that it has to be done naturally then, so, or we'd like to have it done, let's put it that way too.
It'd be good to have it done by March 1st.
It would be excellent to have it done by March 1st.
Yeah, so at this time, I'm gonna ask for some names or some gentlemen that would like to be on it.
I will.
Mr. Ballard would be one. If I can give my page here a second, please.
Mr. President, how many people are you looking for? Just-
Three.
Three.
I'll do it.
I have dry fingers here, so it's not.
I'll do it.
Okay, there's two.
Chris?
Chris, too? Okay, that sounds great.
there's a good chunk of those.
And, then we'll need one more, do I hear?
Steve and I are gonna be working contracts for F&B, so, not that I wanna dump on anybody else, but I think we're gonna be,
You're respectfully pulling your names out of the hat, is that what you're saying?
I'm trying to say, we're gonna be busy.
You gentlemen do have a heavy department,
I got
which projects are being, worked on too.
Yeah.
So, like I say, if we could help,
I guess I'll join those two gentlemen.
Mr. Conan, welcome.
Awesome.
Mr. President, could I suggest that we have either the treasurer or the clerk sit in these with us?
I'm always available, so.
Yeah.
Okay, would you be able to?
Yeah,
go?
either one of us, yeah.
Okay.
That sounds great. Thanks for the offer. So we do have a motion here to appoint as such. Who would like to make this?
I would like to make a motion to appoint trustees Conan, Ballard, and Sleds to the negotiation committee for the employee agreement.
Support.
Support by Clark. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
You owe me.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. I personally am already tapped out, right, with all that water stuff, so. And Steve, I'm gonna go roll Steve into it.
So that's great.
You've had a busy year, Ross, no question about it.
No, I appreciate it, because otherwise I would do
So
it.
has Steve, both you two have. Yeah, they both.
Okay, so next, I would like to just interject here a second. That I did receive a letter. This is just an update. In other words, because it's sort of like new business with the letter coming in today. So the fact is that the letter is from the village of Clinton, which we've had, you folks, gentlemen know, in other words, which is to do with the lead and copper rules, which the Eagle is trying to get through. And so the thing is, Clinton is telling us, in other words, that he has 20 communities involved so far that will follow, along with us, and thanking us for sending our information back to him. And also, they would like to have by January 11th some new letters sent out that should be returned by then, in other words, that requesting more villages to back us up. So that's the latest on that.
So what's Clinton, what are they doing with the water, with the lead and the copper?
Well, the lead and the copper, which is all our hookup that Ross has been talking about here. You know,
what we did a while ago
Yeah,
was
we
we
did.
pledged to give them X, I don't remember what the amount was.
exceed.
Not to exceed. Yeah,
$2,000.
yeah, to help with this case, because they are,
They're initiating it,
I
no.
don't know, yeah, I'm not sure what word I wanna use, but.
It's, the burden to change the pipes for residences.
Under general law falls on the resident,
Yeah, and
and
So
right,
they use,
and they passed it to us, and the problem is that that's a can of worms. It's not that.
well, it's
we're not-
violating general law, you know, so that's their argument.
And we have to go on, we have to get, even to do what we're required to do under these regulations, Dave, if you remember the discussion.
You would have to go into their property.
Yeah, exactly, right, and then we'd be
Right.
liable for any damages and.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just opens a can of worms.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay, so, any other questions?
That said, we've identified most of these lines, so we know
Yes,
where they
right.
are.
Right.
And there's a clock that is theoretically ticking for us to get those things replaced.
They got a lot of tech clocks ticking.
They do.
Too many ticking,
If no further questions.
like
then
time
we'll,
bombs. It'll blow
Mark,
this stuff up.
can I get that letter?
Yeah,
Gonna
sure.
price ourselves
I'll
right out
give
of
you back a copy, I just
people
want
right
to
out of
have it
there.
in file.
No, it's okay, I'll get a copy from you then, if I need it.
Okay.
I don't think I'll need it.
All right, thank you.
So, I think at this time, because we was talking about employee contracts at this time, I'd like to bring the council up to date too, as such where, our, President Pro Tem and myself and the DPW supervisor, did, meet. So, Mr. Conan will have just a few words for you.
We met with Superintendent Ed, discussed his plans, discussed options that we've been thinking about. You know, things that you guys, the committee had identified. Also then, we met with Mr. Wagner and found out what he would like as far as, you know, this situation. Now, we met, we did not make any commitments here. We just were making sure the interest was there and that. And we also discussed, you know, F&B possibility. Interesting note, both Ed and Mr. Wagner thought he was pretty well aware of the state reports. Also, we met with one of the candidates who had applied for the job as a laborer. So, but again, we didn't make any kind of commitments.
But generally positive.
Oh, it was all, I'd say it was all very positive. Would you say
Yes,
that, Mark?
Mr. Conan, it was a very good meeting, right.
Yeah, because we, you know, the comprehensive recommendation we put on the table had a number of little pieces to it. And these are some of the pieces that you guys are exploring, so.
Right.
That's
And,
good to hear.
no, you guys' recommendation, the committee's recommendation, I think was spot on, and that seemed to be, you know, a really good possibility. But also possibility exists that we do have someone that can do these reports.
Yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I appreciate you guys reaching out and having that meeting.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be more before
Yeah.
this is over.
Yep, yep.
All right, thanks, David. Next is to set the meeting dates for our 2021 year. We have that in front of us here. What is the council's wishes, please? All the dates are printed out? Motion suggested?
Well, one thing here, that possibility, and Michelle does have it identified, but for the first council meeting doing the Armada Fair, which we've done in the past,
we had planned on doing this year. To have that first meeting, like this year would be August 9th, at 6 p.m. rather than 7.
You say change it too, though? Or just change the time?
Just change the time. I gave them an
Just change
option,
the
either
time.
changing the date or changing the
Okay.
time, but the last few years,
Or we've
we've just
changed-
changed the time.
And
Well,
that's-
once they started the fair on Monday,
Yeah.
because it used to start on Tuesday.
And that's based upon some members' wives want to go to the show
They do,
that's at the fair on Monday nights now.
yep. Yep,
Be good to get back into the old swing of things. Works for me.
So you tell Patty that we're going to change that for her.
Okay, yeah, right. Thanks, Dave.
So everyone knows now our nation is close to being put on the mend, we hope, with the new vaccine. So let's hope that our year is much better this coming year than this past year we've had. So as far as our village business, we had a good year, just that we want to have an excellent year next year also for our business. But as far as the nationwide and our community period, thank you.
Mr. President, I would make a motion then to establish the following dates, times, and places of the regular village council meeting for calendar year 2021. Do I need to read all of these? Or?
unfortunately, yeah.
I shouldn't have done it. Monday, January 11, 2021. Monday, January 25th, 2021. Monday, February 8th, 2021. Monday, February 22nd, 2021.
Excuse me, should he say 7 p.m. on each one of these?
No.
No?
No, because he reads the last
Okay.
paragraph.
Okay, I'm sorry, Russ.
Okay, no, that's no problem. Monday, March 8th, 2021. Monday, March 22nd, 2021. Monday, April 12th, 2021. Monday, April 26th, 2021. Monday, May 10th, 2021. Monday, May 24th, 2021. Monday, June 14th, 2021. Monday, June 28th, 2021. Monday, July 12th, 2021. Monday, July 26th, 2021. Monday, August 9th, 2021. That meeting is going to be
At
6
6
o'clock
p.m.
6 p.m.
Yeah,
versus 7 o'clock.
yeah. Just say it's 6 p.m. and I'll make sure that gets in.
Okay. Monday, August 23rd, 2021. Monday, September 13th, 2021. Monday, September 27th, 2021. Monday, October 11th, 2021. Monday, October 25th, 2021. Monday, November 8th, 2021. Monday, November 22nd, 2021. Monday, December 13th, 2021. And finally, Monday, December 27th, 2021. Unless changed by the village council by duly posted notice, all of the foregoing regular meetings will take place at the Village of Armada municipal offices located at 74274 Burke Street, Armada, Michigan, 48005, commencing at 7 o'clock p.m. Village clerk is directed to post and publish the foregoing information, and then we discuss the 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Support.
By Shaw. Moved and supported. Any further discussion as to the dates? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Michelle, is this a good time to talk about the 21st versus the 28th, or we just 21st is good? I think.
Yeah, I think, no, it's not. We can do it, you can do it like in council comments.
Council comments?
If it's going to end up changing that, then we'll figure that out.
I don't think I'm gonna ask to change anything,
Okay.
so I had some confusion today about the meeting date. Michelle has squared me away that it's the 21st,
First,
Next
next
Monday.
Monday.
not the 28th.
Yeah.
Oh, next month.
Means I gotta scramble a little bit, but I gotta have Mike here, so, and he won't be at the 28th of December meeting, so I gotta scramble. And so 21st is good.
Okay.
We'll leave it alone.
That's a good reminder.
It should be, but it was set for the 21st.
Yeah.
In the past, we always do the December ones back to back.
Back to back, I was.
I didn't do it on this one, just because it's, I mean, and we shouldn't probably have done it at this one, but we did. I don't remember why we did it, but we did, so. But,
We'll make
okay,
it, we'll make it work.
Next
Yeah.
Monday, we're
yes.
here again.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll probably
What that-
only,
what that
we'll probably
means-
only have Ross on the agenda.
Yeah.
No guilt there.
Jeff, you're gonna get a contract to take a quick look at, so.
December 21st.
Yeah.
He wants it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we'll keep it short for that.
Yeah.
All right.
We did.
We're all set then on the
Yep.
meeting dates. We're also, now CDBG public hearing day. That is next.
Wait a minute, did you call for vote
I
on
don't
that?
know if we voted.
I don't know if you voted.
Oh, I didn't vote on it.
I don't think we
No.
did.
No, we
Sorry,
didn't.
I wrote all these down
You
before
got,
you
you got a
did.
motion and a second?
Yeah.
We did have that, but we didn't vote.
Did vote.
Oh, we voted.
No, I don't think so.
dates?
Well, it was with Ross, I guess.
All eyes.
Oh, you just called for a vote.
Michelle
Now
was
we're
all
good.
eyes too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, now we're good.
Motion carried. Okay, now we will go to the CDB, public hearing motion. What is the council's wishes, please?
Mr. President, resolve to set the public hearing date of January 11th, 2021 at 7 p.m. for CDBG distribution.
Support.
Right, Clark? Any further discussion?
I just want to note, at that meeting, we typically do get some interested parties at the public hearing.
We haven't. I don't
Yeah,
think we
okay.
did last year. They send in, which I have, the county's already provided it,
Okay.
who's asking for what.
Okay. I know in the past, sometimes people will show up.
We
so-
will, yes, they have in the past. I don't remember if last year anybody.
Yeah,
came
we
in.
had some.
Last
Oh, I
year?
think that's-
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Well, the fellow from the Richmond,
Yeah, he always
Yeah,
shows up.
so I guess what I'm saying is, just for
Gotta be
safety
careful.
reasons, we gotta,
There's like 4 of them.
better reach out to some.
Yeah,
if we can.
yeah.
2 of them.
I think Jack is one of them.
Harvest
Please,
shows, forgot the harvest shows, don't they? And
Place athletically.
the ones that stay at
Yeah,
the
you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Congregational Church.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know you didn't know.
I am. Then trust me.
Hal always
Wait
shows
till you
up.
catch up to me.
It's coming.
Hotsy, Sandy usually shows up for panel.
All right, wait a second. Next, we're going to set the budget workshop dates.
Mr. President, I'll resolve to set the 2021-2022 budget workshop dates of January 11th and January 25th, February 8th and February 22nd, March 8th at 5:30 p.m., including February 1st and 15th, March 1st and 15th at 5:30 p.m. if necessary.
Second.
Who did I hear? Conan?
Coleman.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
A motion carried, we have our date set. Next is the municipal league membership renewal. We have that, and you have the information here. As such, there's a difference of $121, so it's only a slight increase for the legal defense, including the legal defense.
Yep.
And $25 or less than 2%. So what is the council's wishes on this renewal?
Mr. President, I'll resolve to approve the 2021 membership renewal with the Michigan Municipal League for the period of February 1st, 2021 through January 31, 2022 in the amount of $1,329.
Support.
Say you, Chris?
Yeah. Chris, you said?
Yep.
All right, I don't hear it. why I'm paying attention to my writing. All right, what, any further discussion on that, please? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Money,
No,
roll
the
call.
money, we gotta go,
For that amount,
Yes.
would we have to?
Let's go roll call on it, please.
Just crossed it out. Ballard,
Yes.
Sleds,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Conan,
yes.
Wolock.
Right, and yes, I forgot that we were
Okay.
spending money here.
That's right. I think it's budgeted for, and
It is. I don't know.
1,003, what, for the MML? Oh, the next one?
The next one. So next is the approval of the funds for a bridge contract modification for F&B transition to Waterworks management and water treatment plant operation. What is council wishes, please?
Okay,
Ross?
I don't want to get too complicated here. We've been talking about this for quite a while, and what we had determined to do is bring F&V on to do a 3-month transition period with the current DPW staff, while the DPW supervisor, better way to put it, while Ed is still here. Ed retires the 31st of March. And I want to get F&V, since we're moving in that direction, F&V in here so that they have a transition period, so that they've got 3 months to fully understand the water treatment plant operation and the other Waterworks activities that they're going to be performing for the village before Ed's gone. And what I would expect is something like, January, Ed's doing all the work and they're looking over his shoulder. And then February, Ed's doing 50% of the stuff and they're doing 50% of the stuff. And then in March, Ed's hit the off button because he's going to retire at the end of the month. He's probably not that interested anymore, and so F&V will probably carry the load. The bridge contract is a 3-month contract, 3 months, right? And it uses the wastewater treatment plant contract that we currently have, that Steve uses and Matt works under. It uses that as a contract vehicle to connect what they call non-routine operations, which is the water treatment plant transition activity. We're going to connect those dots and allow F&V personnel to support that transition in the amount of approximately 10 hours a week at the cost of the principal guy that's going to do it, who is Chris Munson. I don't know Chris, but Chris has been here before.
Yeah.
So he's a known commodity in the village.
Yeah.
So he will be the principal operator for the 3 months, right? He has the appropriate water licenses to do the work, and he will be the one that will help set up the standard operating procedure for whatever follows, right? And start to pull all that information out of Ed's head before Ed takes off. So 3-month contract using the wastewater treatment plant contract vehicle that currently exists as the connective tissue. Now, I don't have that contract, and I got to get that out of Blair Sealover. Steve is very familiar with Blair. He does a lot of the oversight on the wastewater treatment plant. So I'm going to try to get that very quickly, because I almost have to have it in by Wednesday, or at least I got to get the discussion in there. And so, Jeff, unfortunately, I thought we had like a week and a half.
Sure.
Now I'm going to give you a couple days. You have that contract. I did send it to you a week or so ago. I've advocated for a couple changes in there because I do want an operating procedure that is done in time for when Ed's gone, that they have. I want a couple other things out of it, but it'll all be done under those roughly 10 hours a week, right?
So
Now,
30 hours total, you're thinking?
No,
That's what I was gonna ask the same thing.
this is 10 hours a week times 13
10 hours
weeks.
a week, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
13 weeks at $85. So I'll get into that.
At $85 an hour?
$85 an hour. That is their rate.
What's our contract rate with them now?
There's a contract rate for Chris. They've got, you know, it could be more than 10 hours a week. It could be less than 10 hours a week. So what I'm going to put on the table here in a couple minutes is a not to exceed price, because we don't really know what the price is going to be.
Sure.
And what I want you guys to hear tonight is what the price is going to be, so nobody falls out of their chair, so that at the next meeting, it's just contractual. And as long as Jeff's not seeing any major issues, in theory, then you guys would go, okay, do it. We already know what the price is, do it, right? So that on 1 January, which is coming up in like 2.5 weeks, 1 January, these guys are starting to do the work, right? So unfortunately, Blair's had some medical issues in his family, and it's been tough to get a hold of him this last couple weeks. So, but he and I are talking again. So. Again, Chris Munson. Now, there was interest in maybe having Matt stay on, and that is a very likely possibility. Matt has been unable to take his water license test to get his S3, D3 that he needs because of the COVID situation, right? So it could be Chris continues on for a little while, and then Matt takes over.
Matt who's running it now.
Matt who's running it now. So he's doing, would you describe it as part-time at the wastewater treatment plant? Or?
Well, he's running ours, and he's also running over at Marine City too.
Right.
And then there's another fella, Don, who's there in between to take care of things too, so.
Right.
Well, I'm a little confused here, Ross, because
we don't want
whereas we want to do definitely to get information from F&B, which that's what we wanted you to do, and I appreciate that you've done that. But I did not know that we were thinking about going into a contract today.
Not today.
I didn't know that we made a, for sure that we're going to do this with F&B.
Well, do you have an alternative?
Well, yeah,
I don't have any alternatives at this point.
Well, we do have an alternative, but that's the guy we got there now. That's not retiring.
Who's that?
I'm not saying we should do that.
Well,
I'm just saying that is an alternative.
Right. My understanding was we were not going to go that route. So I think that was the understanding of the committee. We were not going to go that route. Now, if
the committee's the one that made the recommendations, I don't think you had that understanding before. Although the recommendations you made have been very good.
We floated that idea and we were told no. So if the committee misunderstood and that's on the table, I mean, I'd say that's fine. But we have a very limited amount of time.
And what I wanted to know was, and I appreciate what you got. You come up with a number for them to, to follow that around. But what I want to know, what was it going to cost for them to do it
full time?
Yeah, full time.
Right.
And that to me would have had an impact on how we're going to go.
Right. I think you can generally take the cost, the $85 an hour, and times 20, so it's $850 a week, $1,700 a week. Then for full time at 20 hours. But we don't. The issue is we don't know that it's 20 hours a week. We would hope that with F&B there, they would be able to create some efficiencies and do it at less than 20 hours, so that our billing rate is lower. But right now I don't know. I mean, I don't know. And that's the problem we have with the 10 hours a week is. It could be 12 hours. It could be 9 hours. And so, when I put this on the table, it's going to be a not to exceed amount. I would expect it to be less than my not to exceed. But so if we do this again, we're trying to get this F&B there 1 January, which is 2.5 weeks, and we got one more meeting this calendar year. That's next Monday. So if we don't have an alternative, then I don't know what else to do.
I'm
Now
just
we're-
thinking that they probably have a pretty good idea what reports Ed puts out. I wouldn't think that would be something they just totally don't have.
Yeah, I know.
have an
No,
idea.
I think we do.
My concern, and maybe, I misunderstood things. My concern was, what was this gonna cost this village yearly? Because we know that sewer water account can't handle much increase.
Right, well, the intention.
And I don't really know what anybody else's thoughts are here. I didn't think we had anything set in stone yet.
We don't. We don't.
Personally, I've said all along, I thought we would have to go on the outside.
Right.
But doesn't mean we have to.
We could have taken the time to compete this, which perhaps would have been the smart thing to do. There are some companies out there that would do this, but the thought of the committee was F&B is already here and established.
I like that thought too. I'm not
they've-
questioning
yeah.
that thought.
Right, and so the expectation was because they're established, they already have an operation here, they could use some efficiencies of that operation. The cost would be less.
I guess I didn't think they needed 3 months to study it. This is what's coming to me.
Well,
as a little bit of a shock.
it's not really studying, I want them to, they've got 3 months to transition.
Is that what they feel they have to do to understand what Ed does?
They may take only 5 hours to do it. Chris Munson, again, I don't know Chris, but I understand that he is very smart on this stuff. He's got
He's
the
a good
appropriate
guy.
license.
We all
He's been in
both know
the,
Chris.
he's been in the village, and so he may charge us less than the 10 hours, but I wanted to have somebody there on 1 January, not 1 April, when Ed's gone, and now it's too late to ask him any questions,
Right.
Yeah.
right?
You got 46 years of knowledge to suck out of his brain.
I have no idea.
Take some time.
Guys, my learning curve on water from when you made me the water commissioner went from nothing to oh my God in about 2 seconds. It is a full-time, non-compensated job for me, full-time, right? I spend more time doing water than anything else I do, to include my real full-time job. Really, I do. So and I don't know it all. And so I want to make sure that, because I don't want to poison anybody in the village with bad water, right? We don't want that. So I want somebody there to spend 2 hours, 10 hours, whatever is required a week with Ed to make sure they fully understand what happens in the water treatment plant and what Ed does and what sampling and testing he does and what he does with chlorinating at the different wellheads and the things that he does, right? I want to make sure they got it before Ed's gone, 1 April, because he's gone. And then I can't get a hold of him anymore. He's going to say, see ya, I'm gone, right? So I don't know what Chris Munson is going to require to get up to speed, and so we're guessing. There's guesswork here. And what F&V said is, we don't think it's going to take 20 hours, which is what Ed says he spends on water every week. We think it'll take 10 hours, because for some of this time, Ed's doing the work. But as we get towards the 1st of March, Ed's gonna not care much anymore, right? He's going to retire. He's going to have to transition it to somebody, and I want to be well prepared so that there's no oopsies on April 1st, right? So that's why we're doing this, and so it makes it a little difficult for me to say it's going to be a set dollar value for a couple months, or that I can get F&V in and they will be fully knowledgeable in 3.5 weeks. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
No, you're planning for the worst case thing, so you got
I'm
3
planning
months
for the
to
worst
transition.
Well, I thought most of what F&B was going to be doing was the testing and the reports for the state.
If you want to look at
Well,
water,
this is coming up the
fast.
pipe too.
if you want to look at Waterworks operations as white collar and blue collar, white collar to me is
I'm not
running the
looking at
water
it like
treatment plant, doing the testing and the sampling that we have to do, writing the reports, and working with the DPW on the blue collar stuff. The DPW guys, who are now augmenting with a new laborer potentially, are the guys that are going to jump in the hole and fix the brakes and that kind, and manage the wellheads and stuff like that. So we've got a scope of work that's been worked out, and our expectation is F&V will not do 20 hours a week. They will do less than 20 hours a week. That's our expectation.
But you don't know what it is, so.
But we don't
So
quite.
if you take the same rate at 20 at 52 weeks, that's gonna be our annual expense thereafter.
And
And by the way, is it following a calendar year, or is it follows our fiscal year?
well, so that's the other piece. What we talked about at the last council meeting is the current wastewater treatment plant contract expires at the end of June of this year. Steve's gonna have to renew it.
Yeah.
We would like to have it terminate a little bit early and have 2 new contracts, assuming that council is interested going.
So,
Yeah.
what does Ed say?
Ed thinks it's a good idea.
No, I mean, like I'm thinking, first of all, I think this is a pretty good outfit, F&B. I'm thinking they don't need 3 months. I don't like giving it
I would
3
say
months.
Dave was asking.
I would think they know
3
pretty
months.
much in a month what that job is.
Well, so I would expect them, if they don't know, if they get everything that they think they need to understand and know in a month,
You don't
then I would
them
expect their
working with-
contract rate to go down the last 2 months.
Right.
We don't need to be here, because we know how to manage the water treatment plant, and we know the other activities that are required, the testing and sampling that's required. For example, we got a PFAS.
I can't help it, I'm very sensitive about this water stuff because I can't vote for any more increases.
It's not,
So we gotta be
It's our-
careful.
it's
we're
what
not,
we're doing.
there's no increase here,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so, again, you're not replacing Ed at his salary, you're
But you are
keeping
gonna
Dave
be-
on at his salary and giving him a slight increase. So now you're taking Ed's money, because you're not bringing in a new supervisor, right?
And you've got a new contract coming up.
And so you're now turning that money to this contract.
So
As we
you-
said,
You think, are you telling me, and I totally hope you're right, and I'll buy into you 100%. If you think you could hire F&B for the same money we're paying Ed and Dave, with Dave just getting an increase and then the other being made out of Ed's salary,
right, no,
I wouldn't think that would do it, but,
we
I
said
hope that
it will probably cost a little bit more. How much more is the next part of this?
See, on the
I've got to find out,
contracts.
again, and we're gonna guess, we can come in with the next contract and say, nope, it's not gonna be 20 hours, we're gonna give you 18 hours, or 15 hours, and see how that works, right? And see what that costs. But we will have a better idea. Now, another reason to go to Matt, for example, is Matt's labor rate is less than Chris Munson's labor rate. Chris Munson's a senior guy. Matt's not a senior guy. He wants to be a senior guy, right? And so it's in his interest to get his licenses, and then let's just say he comes on, he's at a lower rate. Maybe it's $65, maybe it's $50. I don't know, right? That's the next thing that we have to explore. But what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to get us postured so that we have some amount of transition time, so that F&V
I
understands
understand
the
that.
operation, while Steve and I work over the next 3 months to get his wastewater treatment contract ready to go, and I get a water treatment plant contract ready to go with F&V. Now, so the 900-pound gorilla in the room in my mind is council happy with F&V? If you don't want to go with F&V, well then we got 3 months to find somebody else to manage the facilities, right? And we can do that. It was the thought of the committee that going with F&V would be the cheaper alternative, going directly with them and not competing this would be the cheaper
But
alternative.
I'm not even questioning that, Ross.
Pardon?
I'm not questioning that.
No, I'm just trying to make sure that, because it's a little complicated here, right? You're seeing all these different muscle moves, and so.
Ultimately, it's gonna be, Ross, what's the dollar value, Dave, is okay, what are you gonna put out there? You're gonna burn it for the whole time? Or we're gonna come up with another number. The time frame of 3 months is 3 regardless. It's how it
Yeah,
gets used.
the 3 months.
At some point, it may take them a month, and you got another month where you're ramping them up to everything then.
Yeah, the 3 months
Maybe
gives.
put it this, Mr. President,
Pardon me?
you guys, what do you think on this?
Well, I was just gonna interject here too. Leslie, I see in here in the second page here, or the approval of funds, it says, these efforts are expected to require approximately 20 hours a week.
Right.
Because sometimes these things are abused. I don't want to insinuate that, you give a contract for 20,
And you're gonna use all of it.
you're gonna use all of it for sure.
And some.
I mean, our
Well-
water bills, he's concerned about increasing. I think we all are that.
Right.
And the thing is, if they're gonna go ahead and say, well, they give us 20 hours, we're gonna bill them for 20 hours.
I don't anticipate, and I was not gonna put on the table any kind of water department increase, right? So you guys I understand where you're coming from, but I wasn't gonna do it, right? I was gonna take it out of Hyde. It will cost more than Ed, but I don't think it's gonna be substantially more.
Well,
And-
that's
and-
very true, Ross, that's very true. I think you're right to that extent, that some will offset with
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
I think in
Yeah.
essence, so my thing is, I don't want to guarantee,
Because
because years back, they gave the previous company $26,000 increase in that year, and that was totally wrong. Shortly after that, they sold the company. Who got stuck for it? Village of Armada.
Well,
We paid the $26,000. They had a great sales pitch,
sure.
and that's what we have to watch out for. I mean, in doing this, so.
But, all right, I understand what you're saying, but any company that we would get, short of hiring another DPW supervisor that manages water, which over a number of different council meetings, we said we can do that, but your likelihood of finding somebody for less than what Ed's getting is going to be very difficult, and even if you're offering that amount of money, you may not find anybody. Right now, there's a lot of want ads out there for help, and there's not a lot of takers.
We got no response.
Right,
Responses are terrible.
so I'm trying to fill the hole here, and I think the best
You're doing a
way,
good job trying to,
yeah, well, it's just, any company that comes in could be in the same situation. Any company that you get, if you get
They get bought
American Water, or you get, I'm trying to think of some of the other guys, you get those guys to come in, they could
be
sell
sold
tomorrow
next-
too.
yeah.
I mean, that's a risk.
Here's what I thought I was gonna hear tonight, and so I'm disappointed from that standpoint, and I may be the only one that feels this way, because my thinking isn't always the same as everybody else's, but I thought I was gonna hear that F&B thinks approximately they would do this job for such and such dollars a year. That's what I thought you were gonna.
Right, but that's not what I said at the
No,
last
just a
meeting.
second. That's what I thought you were gonna give us tonight. And then I was not anticipating this 3-month trailing ed. Not that it's a bad idea or anything like that. It's just, I kind of thought they pretty much knew what to do. Now, as far as that 46 years, a lot of that is going to be the stuff the guys are doing now. That's not what F&B is going to be doing.
Right.
They're going to be doing a much more of the legal work involved.
They're doing what I would describe as the white collar aspect of it. They're doing the testing, the sampling, filling out the reports. Yes, there should not be a big learning curve there. I'm concerned about the water treatment plant, because each of these plants is different.
Yeah, I don't know if treating the water, and this would be more coming from Ed, I guess, or you, are our current guys going to be treating the water, or would F&B be treating the water? Or whoever.
Our guys, right now, based upon the scope of work, which, let me take a step back. The two things I'm trying to do with the 3 months is make sure that F&B is fully prepared to take over water, right? It's not like picking up sticks on the street. I don't want to have any water issues in this village, and neither do you, right? And I'm willing to pay extra money to make sure I don't, right? Not a lot, but I want to make sure that I don't have any water issues if F&B takes over on 1 April. The other thing that I'm trying to do in the 3 months is, this is the first time we're doing this. I want to make sure the scope of work, and we're into our 3rd iteration of adjusting the scope of work for F&V when they take over, is correct. I don't know if it's correct. Blair Seelover, who's done this for 1,000,000 years, doesn't quite know if it's correct. We're trying to, the 3 months has given us that
I
opportunity.
thought we knew what we wanted F&B to do.
We do, but
As opposed to what our guys are gonna, like, we know our guys are gonna fix pipes and
Right.
manholes and
yes,
things like that. Now, as far as treating the water, I thought you would be telling us, we're gonna have them treat it, or we're gonna do it.
our guys, the expectation is our guys will treat it at the wellhead, and then F&V does it at the water treatment plant. Why? Because we're trying to reduce the hours that F&V is involved here and let our DPW staff, which we're increasing, do most of the work. That's what we're trying to do, right? But it's a transition period, and because I don't have I have no background in water. Like I said, I went from 0 to holy cow, and I think I know a
That's why
lot
I'm
more.
hoping that Ed's making some of these recommendations, and they're not just coming from you, that they're coming from Ed, who's got the 46 years.
He's been involved in these meetings.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
been involved in the meetings. So, you know, we sat down with Ed and said, what would you have the DPW staff do, and what would you have F&V do? So I think we got it, but I'm not 100% sure.
You know,
Right.
we have to live this a little while, so there's a comfort level
Yeah.
on their side and our side as to what's gonna be done and how it's gonna be done.
Right. I wouldn't gamble on saying you got 2.5 days to figure it out, and that's all we're paying you
That's
for.
not what we're asking. That's
No,
not
but
what
no,
we're
That's
asking.
why I'm saying 3 months. Because, Dave, if you think that Ed is going to really care about this stuff on the 1st of March, you're crazy,
You
right?
know what?
He's
I am
retired.
crazy because I do think Ed will really care about it.
Okay.
We shouldn't go into that, but I do believe he'll care about it,
Okay, I mean,
always.
Yeah, but regardless, the whole point is ultimately gonna be, is as you put it, Dave, is, Ross, what's the dollar value you wanna put down for either one? Now, first, this is just a transition time, and we're coming up with it versus F&V saying, here's my proposal, and this is exactly what we're gonna do
Right.
over this 3 months, regardless of what it is. It's you putting a number, and Dave's was, if you put any number you put, or Marv said it, they're gonna use the number to the T.
right. Now, what we've told them 20 hours is, again, 20 hours is what Ed has said he does. We may not be asking them to do 20 hours worth of work, and I think we're trying to posture ourselves so they
I'm not
don't have to
thinking
do
Chris is
20
gonna
hours.
sit with that
But-
20 hours a week.
But, the transition contract gets these guys in the plant on 1 January, 2.5 weeks from now, so that they can start shadowing Ed and start to assume the responsibilities so that by 1 April, they're fully in charge of it, right? And it gives,
At that point, they also
it-
know their numbers.
and it gives me 3 months to work the full-time, long-term contract, which frankly I haven't had the time to do with them, right?
Well, let's approve maybe approve the dollar amount without putting the hours.
Mhm.
Because those hours will have to be agreed
Right, well, I want-
upon by both Ed, Ed's gotta approve when Chris comes in there to sit with him, you know, like Ed can.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Chris can't say, I wanna be there, and Ed's off. You know.
Right, well, my motion has nothing, it says nothing about hours, right? But
Right, but you're basing it on $1 per hour.
But I've
Right.
got a proposal from F&V that says, this is my labor rate for this guy, and we think it's gonna take about 10 hours a week, which is $850 a week at 10 hours,
14 weeks.
right? But we don't know, and so I don't wanna go in there and say, and so $850 a week times 13 weeks is, where do I got it? I got it here
13.
somewhere. It's 11.
I went 14 and you got 11.
About 11,000.
It's $11,050, right? And that's just the base. That's not non-reoccurring. emergency call-outs, whatever, right?
See,
So that's
my-
11,000.
My thing is to, excuse me a second, please. The thing is, these big companies have experience over our small villages. I do not discredit our DPW's present supervisor. You know, and the thing is, they should know how to do this. They should tell us maybe a little bit more, Ross, is what I'm thinking. And so, they shouldn't just up and, say, well, how many hours he worked? Well, I don't know if he diligently worked that many hours totally on that.
Well, then gentlemen, I gotta ask you, how do you want me to go back to this company and say, well, we don't want you to work a whole lot of hours, but give us a price?
Well, they should know what they're fulfilling.
They do have, Mark, they've got an idea because they've got a scope of work that we have worked out.
They do this work, they do this work, they do that work. They got so many tests they gotta do, and that's why I say they should know that. You know, they're supposed to be educated in this business.
Well, again, I'm going by, we put a lot of credence in what Ed says. I'm going by what Ed has told me. 20 hours a week is his average. That's what he's doing. He's very knowledgeable, he's very dedicated, he's done it for 1,000,000 years. He says, I put 20 hours a week in it. So it's 20 hours times whatever the labor rate of the person from F&B that's going to do
And he
it.
works 40 hours a week, what does he do the other 20?
Well,
DPW
we're just
work.
we're setting an
This
hourly.
is just water.
We're setting an hourly rate here, right?
No, I'm not. No.
I thought that you
I'm
said
gonna give you a motion.
He's gonna give
If you want me to give you a motion, I'm gonna give you a motion that gives you a not to exceed figure, because I don't frankly know what it's gonna be. I don't think they're gonna do 10 hours a week. Probably, certainly not in January. Maybe in February, they're doing close to 10 hours a week. Maybe in March when they're doing the work, because Ed's gonna have to let them do it, right? And Ed's gonna not do it. He's going to watch them do it so he knows that they do it right. Maybe they're doing 15 hours a week. So I want to give you a not to exceed price for the 3 months, and that's the transition contract, right? That's what I'm setting up here. That's the transition contract. And then I'm working with those guys to come up with a price, and they're going to have to base it on some number of hours, right? Maybe it's 15 hours, maybe it's 20. I don't want them to work any more hours than they have to.
But the thing was, that's the number we had in our pocket to compare what they would have proposed versus.
So now
they know it, they got it. So
it's the number that Ed has put on the table. I didn't put it on.
I guess I didn't think it would be so hard for F&B to know what to do. Not that they can't do it, but like you said.
I'm not saying that. I don't know why. Talking with Blair the other day, he doesn't believe they're going to put 10 hours in a week, right? But he had to come up with something because he's got to price it. And so that's why I want to simply give it as a not to exceed.
And it's 13 weeks, Russ, or 14 weeks?
It's 13 weeks.
Why don't you make your motion?
All right.
All right. Well, I want to make sure council understands. It's complicated, and I don't want to try to snooker anybody. It's a three-month transition contract, and then 1st of April, we would have a full-time contract for 4 years, 5 years, whatever, at a certain
And
dollar.
at that time, we can go out for bids.
If you want to, we have very limited time to do it, right? Very limited time to do
Well,
it.
even if we
Even if
You
you
know,
And it was-
your
did
cost
that for
today,
6 months,
and you
and
know what they're
then,
gonna
you know.
So,
But at least we'd have somebody.
We're-
Hey, you know, Ross, we gotta have dialogue on this stuff. We can't just have one councilman say, pay this money, and everybody say yes.
No, I don't.
We need to have dialogue. Don't be offended because we ask
No, I'm
questions.
not being offended, but we've been talking about it for 6 months now.
I know.
6
but
months.
I
Whole
told you
months.
what I thought you were coming back with, and you come back with something totally different. It doesn't mean I'm right.
I write this stuff up, I take my time to write all this stuff up and put it out there. So I've said what we're trying to do.
You know, you know.
And I don't want to get frustrated with it. It's a lot of work, guys. It's a
No,
lot of work.
we know you're working hard.
No,
Make
you're
your
working
motion,
on it,
Ross.
Ross, and that's
Make
not-
your motion,
that's-
Ross.
That's not our point, you know, so.
All right,
Make your
let me
motion.
find where it is.
You want my
So
copy?
I make a motion to approve the base cost for a short-term Village of Armada Waterworks transition to management contract with F&V Operations and Resource Management Incorporated in the not-to-exceed amount of $18,000, subject to final approval of a, shouldn't have waste in there, of a water treatment plant contract modification, I'm sorry, no, it should have, wastewater treatment plant contract modification by the Armada Village Council. Because what we're modifying for 3 months is the wastewater treatment plant contract. That's what you will get on the 21st, is you will get that
Next meeting.
contract put before you, and Jeff will say it's a piece of garbage, or, no, this is, yeah, I don't see any major.
I would hope that they could give us
You know?
something by like March 1st, because, I mean, if you want it ready to go for April 1st, it's like,
That's the next thing that I have to work on, and he has to work on his wastewater treatment plant contract. So it's 3 months, not to exceed $18,000. I don't think it'll get anywhere close to that. Again, it's, in my mind, it was a range of $11.50 to, shoot, what did I do with it? To $16,575. That's 15 hours. I don't know what it's going to be, and neither does F&V, right?
In other words, 18,000 is 20 hours?
$18,000 is slightly above 15 hours, not more than 15 hours a week at $85, right?
Average.
$85 an hour for the guy, Chris Munson, at 10 to 15 hours a week. I don't think he's going to get to 10 hours, but I don't know. I don't know, right? And I don't want to come back to you guys and say, oops, we blew the budget and now I need more money. I just want...
So you took the six.
I want to put a ceiling out
Put
there.
a little bit on top of it.
Yes, that's exactly what I did for
well,
3
if they
months.
want $85 an hour, but if,
16.
after they get the contract,
What
there's
is
a
that?
hell of a lot more
I-
increase.
I wasn't born yesterday. I've been doing Army contracts for a long, long
And the
time.
Army's noted
Abrams
for,
tanks and stuff like that. No, we're not buying $500 hammers.
you're sure they're not?
No, we're not. That's the Air Force.
Okay, we have a motion, did we?
Yes.
I'll support it. No, support the no call.
Was it by Shaw?
Shaw.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Anybody want any more information? I got all kinds of information.
Well,
No, thanks.
at this time, we all said, Ross, you've done a good job investigating this whole idea.
I think it'll be a good.
And like I say,
All right.
you know, I've heard too that, and I've stated, I don't want to hit our taxpayers by any chance.
There is no
And
intention
like I
on my
said,
part to do any of that.
What's ill in my book is, yes, in the past years, we shouldn't probably go back to that, but, you know, if some company's gonna hit me like that again, hey, they can get out of here.
Yeah.
Plain English, because the taxpayers cannot afford anymore.
I appreciate what you guys are saying. It's kind of, as the past water commissioner, I understand what Ross is going through, and Eagle is getting more and more, as he's told you guys, they're demanding more and more. And there's nothing you can do when they demand something. You have to, you can't, and you're talking about water, you're talking about something that you saw it happen in Flint. So you have to remember, you always have to have that in the back of your mind, and that's what I think Ross is saying.
He's done a good job at that, we're not finding fault with that, that's no fault.
What I'm doing, I think, is following the committee's recommendations. The slight change here is this 3-month transition period. Because I want to make sure that whatever we do for a longer term is correct. It's got all the appropriate duties in it. We've had 3 months to make any course corrections to what I have now. And we try to determine what the amount of hours is. I hope it's not 20,
Well,
but I'm going off of what our
we repeated that several
Good.
times.
Yeah.
But now the fact is, the clause to terminate within this 3 months, is there a clause?
Yeah.
We'll know next week.
Yeah.
I mean,
when we
it'll
get
come
it.
back next week, so we'll make
Right.
sure
Yeah,
there's.
there's a
Yeah.
whole termination arbitration. It's the contract that he is currently, that the village is currently under for the wastewater treatment plant. We're modifying it to add in the water for 3
And
months.
that one is set up, we could end that contract at any time, or they could end it at any
Right.
time.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Well, I mean, that would be beneficial.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want no company coming in here gouging us.
I wouldn't either. I'm 110% with you. I would not either.
That's my hope.
But
Yeah.
Mark, one thing you gotta remember, and I don't know if you were on the board when we did make that change. When we went outside, and we weren't with F&B then, it was actually cheaper than when we were doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
Plus, we got a better relationship with, at that time, the DNR. Because we were constantly getting in trouble.
Well, they're actually.
But it was done at a saving.
The rules and regulations are coming down on everybody anymore, you know,
And we got all our people
they
jobs.
didn't come down on the right ones at the right time.
Yeah, I think we at this point, we've got a good relationship with Eagle. They're working with us. They've been very complimentary on progress that we've made. F&B, I think, will give us a lower cost manager than going out to industry in general and trying to find somebody who has no knowledge of the village and doesn't have a footprint in the village already. You know, they need a water treatment guy needs a place to hang his hat. He's gonna do it at the wastewater treatment plant. We already got it, right? I mean, there will be some savings. But I have nothing better to go on right now, gentlemen, than 20 hours a week, which is what Ed Saratowski has told me. If somebody's got a better idea of that than Ed, you tell me who it is. Because I'm just, you know, I'm going to Ed. How much is it taking? 20.
At this time, I'm calling for the vote, please.
Thank you.
Clerk, call roll, please.
Elke,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Sleds,
Yes.
Clark,
Yeah.
Ballard,
Yes.
Conan,
Yes.
Bullock.
No.
Thank you. So Dave, I will be coming back with that. Probably in a month or
That just
two.
wasn't like what I was expecting. And
Yeah, I
I
know. It's
maybe
just-
my bad thinking.
No. We were trying to do that, but we're just running out of time.
Okay, now next is a citizen's comment. Again, we have no citizens in the audience, so let the record show. And council comments at this time, any other further council?
From the parks, I'd just like to thank Kent Lawn Care for taking care of our parks as long as they have, because they did it pro bono. So I'd like to thank Kent Lawn Care.
They did a nice job too.
Yes, they did. And I don't know who we're gonna find to do it for pro bono these days. I've already tried a few companies, and they laughed at me, so.
No, he did an excellent job of fall cleanup and stuff.
Yes, you did.
Ross, could you check in F&B? Maybe they could do it.
I think I saw a lawnmower down at the wastewater treatment plant.
Community events, any community events at this time?
Yeah, well, I wanted to talk to you, I won't say anything. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
No further? All right, if there's no closed session at this time, and so I'm gonna entertain a motion for adjournment, please.
Oh, upcoming agenda item.
Is your F&B contract, is that on the end?
And we'll come back in the next meeting with the contract, right? So you've approved the dollars, but I want you to see the contract,
Thank you.
which will have the scope of work in there, right? What we think is,
What, addendum to the contract or something?
yeah, that's however they do it, but mostly I wanted to get it past Jeff. Because for example, I think there's a piece in there where we need to update the
Might be 8:30.
liability, you know, the protections for the building. 30 something like that.
Well, we'll talk about that. Okay.
I call for adjournment, please.
The time is 8:17. I move to adjourn.
By Bell.
Support.
Support by,
Support.
by Belkey.
Mr. Coleman.
You think I like hearing myself talk?
This is the end of your minute. And you guys,
You did a good job, Ross.
tonight.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
You can keep them if you